Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
His big ideas on foreign policy: to build a wall with Mexico and tear up the Iran nuclear deal. On military strategy: to bomb the hell out of ISIS and go after terrorists' families. On immigration: bus millions of people home and stop Muslims coming to America. Brace yourself, Donald Trump could be on his way to the White House. It's not the number of states he won yesterday, it's the fact he's found a whole new world of people who will vote Republican to make him president. And that alone makes it increasingly unlikely the party will reject him. He is, after all, their monster child.
Donald Trump will win the Alabama Republican presidential primary. Donald Trump will carry Massachusetts. The Donald Trump will also carry Tennessee.
In the end, it was a Trump slide.
It was largely Donald Trump, Massachusetts, Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee.
State after state falling to the man who 8 months ago was dismissed by many as a joke candidate. The billionaire real estate mogul prone to bombast and xenophobia. But no one's laughing now. There's every chance Donald Trump is on his way to the White House.
This has been an amazing evening already.
More on how he might get there in a moment. But overnight, Donald Trump, the candidate, morphed into Donald Trump, the likely nominee, complete with a presidential-style makeover.
That this was an exciting evening. It's so great to be in Florida. It's so great to be at Mar-a-Lago with friends and the press.
The man of the people chose to declare his bloodless coup of conservatism in America from his Palm Beach mansion, Mar-a-Lago, with Versailles-inspired gilding. If it's reminding you of the White House, that's what he had in mind.
I'm a unifier. I know people are going to find that a little bit hard to believe, but believe me, I am a unifier. Once we get all of this finished, I'm going to go after one person. That's Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton's sweep of the South brought relief and an unassailable lead over Bernie Sanders. Her well-organized campaign finally overwhelming the grassroots movement that had built around the left-wing candidate.
We can come together to make this country work for everyone, the struggling, the striving, and the successful. If we all do our part, we can restore our common faith in our common future.
Even as she ran through her lines, you could hear her recalibrating to counter the campaign of Donald Trump and his promises to make America great again.
And America never stopped being great. We have to make America whole.
She wants to make America whole again, and I'm trying to figure out what is that all about. Make America great again is going to be much better than making America whole again.
On the Miami Strip, in this state where general elections are won and lost, a father and daughter fresh from hearing her speech described why they think Hillary can trump Trump.
And everything is negative. The consequences are going to be that they're going to lose the election because the country as a whole, white, black, Hispanic, they don't think of America in that way.
But a lot of Americans do, and there's every indication Trump is finding and bringing them to the Republican Party, just like Barack Obama did for the Democrats 8 years ago.
We are going to be a much bigger party, and you can see that happening. We're going to be a much bigger party. Our party is expanding.
And he's winning the votes of mainstream Republicans who say the party needs him to revive their chances.
America's ready for a Republican. We've had a Democrat for a while, and I just think, the traditional way of looking at politicians is over. I think they want more of a celebrity.
So he wouldn't necessarily have been the kind of guy a year ago that you would think of as being president, but
absolutely not. But you know what? With everything else that is going on, with everybody else that is currently in the running, I honestly think he is the best man for the job. 6 months ago, would I have said that? Absolutely not.
Let's imagine Trump is in the White House.
Oh, doesn't that sound great? President Trump.
How is America going to be different?
Because he's going to lead with strength and backbone, and he's going to, number one, build the wall and begin to restore our sovereignty.
Thank you very much, everybody.
America restored, even great again, but not necessarily whole. More than a race to the White House, this is now a race to define what America is, and that affects us all.
So, Kylie, how did this happen?
Well, Krish, I think the answer lies in the breadth of his appeal, really. As you saw in our piece, you meet all kinds of Americans who like the idea of Trump, not necessarily conservative people, not necessarily working class people. I met one man last night, in fact, who told me that last time around he'd voted for Barack Obama, but this time he'll vote for Trump. Trump really seems to transcend politics in a way that makes him difficult to define. His policy so far is very light on detail. He speaks in headlines. He gets acres of free media. He phones up television networks live. You know, the head of CBS here has said in the past few days that he may not be good for America, but he's very good for CBS. He is winning thoroughly. Now, there is a matrix by which Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, who did pick up a few states last night, might be able to scrabble together enough delegates to challenge him for the nomination. But increasingly, it would feel like suicide for the party not to accommodate Trump.
Thanks, Kylie. Well, in a moment, I'll be talking to the Conservative commentator Ann Coulter, who's a Donald Trump cheerleader, and she's in New York. But first, from Washington, let's go to the Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. And you've been much more nervous about the prospects of Donald Trump winning. How are you feeling today?
Well, look, I mean, I think he's in the best position, but I still don't think he's going to win. I think everybody's kind of writing the story, and it's only been a few states that have had their primaries. There's a lot of real estate to go. On March 15th, Illinois, for instance, 99 delegates is at play. Rubio's in a very strong position there. His home state of Florida, a lot of delegates there. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot to be written still. But look, he's in a better position than any of the other candidates. But it's imperative for us to save the party by bringing somebody that can unite Republicans together to win in November. And that is certainly not Donald Trump. Not only can't he unite our party, he certainly can't unite this country.
And if he does win the nomination, what is it you're most afraid of about him?
Well, all you have to do is listen to what he said. First off, when he talks about plans or details, he just speaks in a bunch of like fourth grade language. He goes after his opponents using fourth grade insults, talking about ears and sweating. I mean, that's childish. And so I don't know what he actually stands for. So, you know, when all is said and done, I think this is going to come through. This is going to come out, and people are going to unite behind the guy that can win, the optimistic candidate, Marco Rubio, that can unite the next generation of the children of the Reagan Revolution.
Could you vote for Donald Trump?
I don't know. I'm not going to say no. I'd like to get to where I could support the Republican nominee, but listening to him having trouble disavowing David Duke, who was a Ku Klux Klan leader, and saying that he had a bad earpiece when he actually repeated his name prior to not disavowing him, and then later I mean, all this stuff comes into play where I'm like, you know, as a veteran, I put my country above my party any day. So I'd like to support the Republican nominee, but as I've seen today, Donald Trump does not represent the kind of American leader I want to see.
And do you think we on this side of the Atlantic should be afraid too? I mean, the thought of Putin on one side and Trump on the other kind of scares a few people.
Well, I don't know if you should be afraid, because America will always be friends to its allies. But, you know, when Trump does say things like he gets flattered by Vladimir Putin, I hope your next guest responds to that. He gets flattered by when people say nice things about him, including terrible people like Putin. That is frightening. But look, you know, the UK, our allies, should always know that America will be there and stand as our friend, no matter who our president is.
Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Adam Kinzinger. Let's go to Ann Coulter now, who is in New York. How has he done this? Who's he reaching?
He's reaching about 10 million Americans, blacks, Hispanics, evangelicals. Massachusetts, one of the most liberal states in the union. He is sweeping the nation. You're going to get a false impression of what's happening over here. I just realized, listening to your last guest, because it is about 10 million people against 500 people. But that 500 are all of our elected Republicans and, you know, GOP or Republican strategists, consultants, lobbyists. They're the ones who are going crazy. What Trump has done in the reason he's done this is the two parties, both of them, have been forcing their candidates to take suicidal positions. You can't choose a la carte and take the popular position on every issue. You know, if you want to go with the Republicans because you want lower taxes, well, then you have to, you know, commit yourself to a lot of wars in the Middle East. If you want the Democrats because they'll take care of the poorest people, then you have to commit yourself to losing wars in the Middle East, or, you know, abortion on demand. demand. Trump comes along, and mostly on immigration, it mostly has to do with building the wall and American sovereignty and taking care of the people who already live here. But beyond that,
so he appeals to racists,
just issue by
doesn't he?
issue, he's taking the most popular position.
I mean, just to put it bluntly, he appeals to a theme of racism in America, doesn't he? People who don't like Mexicans, people who don't like Muslims. That's all pretty straightforward looking at it from the outside.
No, he doesn't. He won a majority of the Hispanic vote. He's winning huge numbers of the black vote for Republicans. I mean,
the numbers on that are a bit dodgy.
For the Democrats. And he's winning huge numbers of Muslims. But I'm sorry, can we ever talk about the white American vote or the white and black American vote? That is the traditional America. For 200 years, it hasn't been a multiracial society. America has been a biracial society. The recent immigrants, yeah, they're voting overwhelmingly for the Democrats, but luckily, as I suspected, they came to America. They want to live in the America that they immigrated to. They don't want to turn America into Mexico. And the way things are going, that is what it's going to be, which is part of the reason.
Do you have enough sort of angry white people to take him to the White House?
They're not angry.
He can get the nomination, but he's then got to take on Hillary Clinton.
He's going to crush Hillary Clinton. Mark my words. We've been hearing for 7 months how Trump it's a summer fling. He's not going to win a single primary, over and over again from the other people I am sure you're interviewing. Oh, he's going no place. He'll never be the nominee. He is doing far better than Mitt Romney did in 2012. He is doing 1,000,000 times better than John McCain did in 2008. He's doing comparable to what Obama was doing, except I think even better than that when he ran against Hillary Clinton. These are stunning numbers he's getting, and the demographics he's getting are stunning. He is winning across the board. It is not just, angry white men. This is just a way to insult the American people.
But
look, my friends are...
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, do you really know exactly what he stands for and everything? So take abortion.
Yes.
I mean, he says he is anti-abortion, but he says Planned Parenthood has done great things for millions of women. Do you agree with him on that?
Yes. Yes.
That they were right to help all those women.
This is what I mean about not being constrained by donors and lobbyists and consultants. He can say something that is perfectly common sense like that. Look, I'm pro-life.
But that's not common sense. That's contradictory.
No, it isn't. He said that Planned Parenthood has done wonderful things for millions of women. He's talked to women. They do cervical cancer screening. They do breast cancer screening. They help with birth control. But he is against abortion. And as long as they keep performing abortions, he will not allow them, or at least will veto their being federally funded.
Fine.
It makes perfect sense.
Take the Middle East then. I mean, he has said on one day he'd leave the Middle East to Russia. And then on the other day, he wants American policy to become sort of officially a war criminal by bombing the families and children of IS fighters, and to fight IS even more strongly. So which is it? I mean, does he want to go to war in the Middle East or leave it to the Russians?
That's not going to war. That's bombing the S out of them. And I think that is a vastly, massively, both liberal and conservatives are done with war. We've had enough with war. This is how, the Bolsheviks threw out the Kerensky government. We are sick of war in this country, and the Republican Party is tied to, no, we have to keep fighting wars in the Middle East. Marco Rubio wants to start about 3 separate wars. No, we're done for now. Could we take care of America for a while? Now, yeah, okay, you can bomb our enemies. Good, have at it. But no ground troops. Have you listened to Marco Rubio? The rest of the Republican field is insane, and they are not where the American people are. And Donald Trump is.
Ann Coulter, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, there are some states who are still to hold their primaries, Krishnan, including one here in Florida in a couple of weeks. Very important, lots of delegates at stake. But I think the real issue is who's actually going to contest that. It sounds like Ben Carson is going to drop out. Certainly the GOP is going to be working very hard, the establishment, to try and shoehorn Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz in ahead of Donald Trump. That's unlikely to work. Mitt Romney is going to condemn his candidacy, we understand, tomorrow, but really it feels like too little too late. I should just briefly talk about the Democrats. Of course, Bernie Sanders did do well yesterday. He won a number of states, and critically he's revealed the weaknesses of Hillary Clinton, talking about her links to big money, the suggestion that she's in the pocket of big corporations, her talks, her paid talks to banks like Goldman Sachs, her connections to Wall Street. Of course, Donald Trump has been listening and learning from all of this, so we can expect him to try and sharpen his attacks in that direction. At the same time, Donald Trump has his weaknesses, his failed businesses, his bankruptcies, his character. Hillary Clinton will be looking very hard to attack him there.